This American election isn't just about voting for a president. In many ways, it's also about voting for an ideology. Hillary Clinton, the Democrat, represents an ideology popular with the media. She represents identity politics, seeing people not as individuals but as types or tribes and dividing us into those tribes. And so we get blacks versus whites, gays versus straights, women versus men, and always victims versus the oppressors, who tend to be old straight white men like, hey, Donald Trump.
Imagine with me what it would be like to have Donald Trump sitting in the Oval Office come next January. Someone who demeans women, mocks the disabled, insults Latinos and African Americans.
Now, Clinton's using this identity politics to stitch together a coalition of voting groups. So she's appealing to blacks as blacks, Latinos as Latinos, and especially to women as women.
If there are any little girls out there who stayed up late to watch, let me just say, I may become the first woman president, but one of you is next.
Now, a lot of people find that sort of stuff inspiring, and it does seem to work. In fact, the latest Wall Street Journal poll shows women back the woman in this race by a massive 53% to Trump's 38%. Even more pronounced with the African American vote. 5 recent polls together show 83% of black voters support Hillary Clinton, whose party, not incidentally, also promises more welfare. But one problem, of course, with all this is that anyone against this new tribalism is attacked as not just wrong, but evil. Now, Clinton has herself damned millions of Donald Trump supporters.
You could put half of Trump supporters into what I call the basket of deplorables. Right? The racist, sexist, homophobic, xenophobic, Islamophobic, you name it.
Now, let's take gay rights, for instance, as if gay rights really is any different from the rights we all should share. It doesn't actually matter, you see, whether Trump in fact supports equal rights for gays. It doesn't matter that he at least dared, unlike many, to call out the slaughter of 49 people at a gay nightclub in Orlando as inspired in part by the jihadist killer's faith, hostile to gays.
A radical Islamic terrorist targeted the nightclub, not only because he wanted to kill Americans, but in order to execute gay and lesbian citizens because of their sexual orientation.
Oh, that doesn't matter. It didn't fit the paradigm. You see, Trump does not play identity politics, so he must be anti-gay.
Donald Trump has a terrible record on LGBT rights. And this election will determine whether we continue the progress we've made or let it be ripped away.
Now, we have the same sort of identity politics right here. Julia Gillard, as Prime Minister, pushed it very hard.
I invite you to imagine it, a Prime Minister, a man with a blue tie, who goes on holidays to be replaced by a man in a blue tie.
But this ideology now faces a really interesting challenge. Here, for instance, I've talked to dozens of young gay conservatives, also conservative Aborigines, by the way, and they resent the way that the left sticks them in boxes and treats them as victims all alike. And the same thing is happening in the United States. And we see it particularly with a new cult blogger from Breitbart News, Milo Yiannopoulos, a gay conservative who's touring American university campuses on what he calls his dangerous faggot tour. All right, Milo is British, but what is striking is the reception he gets from many young American gays to his message, which is reject identity politics, reject victim politics, and vote for Donald Trump.
It is time for us to speak with one loud, clear voice and say no more. The left stranglehold on homosexuals is over. Yep.
And my guest is Milo Yiannopoulos.